S tier,
They are definitely over.
Rapid Ingress. Welcome to another Rapid Ingress. We are again in different places at once, but this is how WTC likes it.
WTC?
Yes,
Oh,
they like the randomness.
they like the
We'll talk
randomness.
about that.
It's funny you mentioned WTC. We even plan on talking about it today.
Yeah, so that's our first topic. Let's get to that. Before we get to the first topic, I want to talk a little bit about our giveaways that we have coming this month. We have a new sponsor, Battle Ready Games, which we've been going to some of their tournaments. They have an amazing online store as well as a regular store that you can walk in person. But check out all our videos. We have an affiliate link at the bottom of our videos, and you can go to their online store and get an additional 5% off anything you buy. But on top of that, there's also a great giveaway sponsored by them for this month. We're going to be doing a lot more of them. 3 big boxes for the Order Xenos. What are they? The 3 Imperium boxes.
Order Xenos, Order Malleus, and Order Hereticus.
Right. And those are all going to be given away on September 21st. If you want details how to enter, go on to our community page or go on to Instagram, and you'll find out exactly all the ways you can get tickets to win one of those big prizes, because they are really nice boxes. And there's some new models in there as well. That's our plug to start the show, so people don't miss that. Let's get into it. Start the timer. The first one is WTC, but from ITC. What is the change, and is it for the better?
Well, apparently I didn't get to experience too much ITC since you say it's mostly 8th, and what I played in 9th was Scuff GW. So this is kind of going to be a learning moment for me as well.
Yeah, like initially ITC 8th edition ITC fully run by Frontline Gaming and using their rule systems and their scoring systems was, in my opinion, peak competitive time. And it was like, yes, there was a lot of stomps, there was a lot of balancing issues that had to happen and things like that, but for something that was just starting up, it was very fun and it was done really well. And then 9th edition, GW got their hands on it, and I think it started all going downhill for ITC. That's where it really went downhill for ITC, because we started doing GW missions, and they were not as they tried to make it a little more balanced and tried to get their foot in the door with that kind of stuff. But when they came into full control of ITC, I feel like the competitiveness, the competitive field started changing a lot. And a lot of people didn't like 9th edition ITC as much as they like 8th. That had to do with the differences in the editions as well. But a lot of people will say when GW got involved with ITC, it kind of went downhill and tanked it.
So I'm kind of surprised with that you said not a lot of people like 9th. I don't like the end of 9th, but a lot of people I meet like the end of it. So maybe competitive-wise it wasn't great, but it seems like most people still liked it.
I didn't mind 9th at all. I'm just saying it was different. ITC 9th edition was different than ITC 8th. 8th for a different reason. I'm just saying when GW started getting involved with it, it was broken for different reasons.
Yes. So from what I understand with it, it's like it's better just to leave GW to making the models and base rules and letting the community manage itself balance-wise.
Yeah, well, Frontline Gaming did a great job at managing ITC and coming up with the scoring systems and things like that with the community and play testers and people in the community. But I just feel like, yes, it was, even though there was things broken with 8th edition, it was more the edition itself than I think ITC, and the scoring was a lot more balanced in the way it scored. And then I feel GW got involved with ITC and kind of didn't really know what they were doing, because they weren't. Let's face it, GW is not. They're not really worried about the competitive realm. Now they are a little bit more, because they see how much money there is in it and how many of those players actually buy models and chase meta, and all that stuff is turns into dollars. So of course they're going to get more involved in it. But I was mentioning this to Anthony. Nobody played WTC back in the day in 8th edition. Nobody played WTC in Europe. They played WTC, but it was not considered as competitive as ITC, because it was Maelstrom of War. And Maelstrom of War, if you've ever played it, is very bad for a competitive game because it's very random and there's a lot of randomness to it, and nobody played that in North America, or very few people played competitive Maelstrom of War. That was WTC and what was played in Europe. And if you know, a lot of Canadian players went over and did those WTC tournaments, but it was not the meta in North America. It was ITC here. Now, GW, this is my own opinion. Obviously, it's going to be a little bit of a hot take. GW forced WTC on everybody because they don't want to do so much balancing with ITC. It requires more balancing in the game. The scoring happens a lot differently. It's more, your army is more directed into a way of playing, and you pick secondaries to a specific way you want to play. So like, I want to be very killy. I'm going to pick these secondaries in my army, and this is how I'm going to build my army. GW is saying now, no, we're going to go to WTC. We're going to do Maelstrom of War. We're going to do competitive secondaries, which they've done a really good job with. They've made them actually good, but the randomness of which you draw them and get them and have to do things, you can't build your armies to be a specific spec. Now you can't be like, I'm going to be a bring it down and a behind enemy lines army. No. That doesn't work anymore. And all the fixed missions you want to take are the worst ones. So GW got their way and forced in Maelstrom. And now I think this is the worst state of competitive 40K as far as, not as far as the game goes, because the game is actually in a good state. As far as actually being a competitive game where you can control the outcome as much as possible, it's the worst state in that because of the randomness.
Have to let your rant go for a while there. We really should change the timer to like 5 or 6 minutes one day.
No, they stay what they stay.
They stay what they say?
Right. Yeah. You can add a little point to that before we go to the next one.
I did have a point and I forgot it.
That's a Zoomer moment. That's basically, Anthony, you just... What were you going to say? I don't know.
I was thinking about it during the entire rant and then just, oh yeah, what did I want to say?
That's not really a rant. I'm explaining the whole situation. A rant is just like going on and going on. I'm explaining all the tiers of what it was. I mean, that's the state of it where it is right now, and that's what it was. And I don't know. I don't think you know enough about it because you haven't been in the hobby long enough to know like how much it actually changed. But I think that might be like better for you not to know how it was because it was a lot, in my opinion, better back then.
I get it. Because 8th, I wasn't competitive at all. I didn't start competitive till 9th, so I only know how GW does it now and not before. And I remember, it's GW's own words where they're a model company, not a rule company. But now, you know, they're very into competitive.
Yeah, my statement from that is the game is in a good state. I like what they've done. Like it's not the worst, but all I'm saying is for competitive players that played ITC, this is the least amount of control you have on how your army scores. You just have to kind of build an army that's good at holding objectives, good at getting behind enemy lines, doing actions, you have to be a jack of all trades army. And GW's basically stealth way of making the game more balanced is by not letting people bring skew lists and have these types of armies that are just there to table you. That's the end of that. So let's see if it changes back to ITC. I don't think so. I don't think GW is going to get away from this Maelstrom stuff for a while.
Yeah, Pariah really hit the fixed secondaries hard.
Yeah, but going in, before I give myself a yellow card, because Anthony has 2 yellow cards so far this turn.
Today? Just today?
Teams greater than singles?
Yeah, let's see. Are team tournaments the new and best way to play 40K? I kind of agree, just because, I don't know, playing with a team is more fun than playing alone, obviously.
I mean, it is fun to play as a team. Like, it is very fun. But going back to what we just said, we just kind of covered this whole thing. You don't have to worry about... It makes you worry less about being a skew army or winning or doing that. You just have to remain close, score points, not get blown out. You know, if you keep the game really close to a tie, which a tie in team tournaments just means you don't lose by more than 10 points or whatever it is, that's considered a tie. So you have a lot more incentive just to play the game, compete, stay on objective, score points, and it doesn't really matter, you know, if you win by 30 or win by 40 like old ITC was. So team tournaments, are they better than singles? I don't think so. I still enjoy controlling my own destiny as far as the tournament goes. but team tournaments do add another element to the way you play, and like you just said, playing with people on a team is fun. It's really fun.
I just like the outside element. Like, you're still playing the game, fine, whatever. It's like the pre-game that I really enjoy. You study the other teams, you know roughly what they do. Oh, maybe we have a good matchup matrix with like this guy into that guy. And then before the game starts, remember the TGX one where it's, here's two guys, who do we pit against them? There's like a whole meta game before you even play the game. I love that.
Yeah, it's like playing a MOBA, right? So you pick your carry, and then you have your defender, your healer, whatever, and then you kind of be like, oh, they picked this guy, let's counter with this pick, or let's put this guy against this guy in this specific lane. So yeah, you'll be like, let's put our really strong skew list versus that defender list, and we'll play on that table. And then the way it's chosen is all depending on the tournament you're at. They all have a little bit different variations on how they do that, but that's a whole other aspect of the game. Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, I don't know. It's just, I really enjoy that. And yes, it's just a different environment. I still like the single player tournaments where you just go and you play and it's all up to you. Everything's on your shoulders. Because you also have the added stress with team tournaments. Like, am I failing my team? It's not just me.
Yeah, and like I said, the two main elements for me that make, I think, team tournaments really, really viable now more than they used to be is the way the game is. Like the Maelstrom type of game, the drawing the cards, makes team play even more random, because like not only is the game more random, but when you start pitting players against matchups they don't really want to play against, the randomness kicks up even more. Now you're playing, we have thick boards and you have thin terrain boards, like not as much cover, and you want to put an army that is really tanky, but let's throw them on that board with no cover. Let's see how they can handle all this Tau shooting. So it becomes like a chess match on top of a chess match, if that makes sense. And it's fun. I like team tournaments. What's your opinion on that? What's better for a 10th?
It just depends what I'm in the mood for. For 10th, I guess team tournaments are technically better in that sense, just because it matches the randomness more. But I definitely don't want to see like the scoring system carry over to normal tournaments.
No, I don't like the scoring system for singles, but I think it works really well for a team environment.
I don't know,
instead of just everybody, whoever wins. Like, it's like, yeah, keep it close, do the scores, let's see what it comes up to. We're going to a team tournament at Battle Ready this coming week, next week.
Yeah.
And we have two teams there. We have team NKG Team A and NKG Team B, which is the better team. They tag themselves NKG the better team, and it's gonna be we're gonna have a lot of fun.
We better
but going on to
above them now.
Yeah, you exactly. Anthony, did you get another yellow card for going over this one?
No, but I did forget to put the picture up for that one.
Oh, Anthony forgets again. This is two things you forgot already in one video. You forgot what you wanted to say, and you forgot a picture.
A nice little picture of that.
All right, so let's get on to the next topic. Start the timer. Blood Angels. Are they bad now?
As I put with the sentence, they sure do exist. They're not officially out yet, but people have the book, they have the new models, and the rules. And I'm still not blown away by the rules at all.
Excuse me. They are less slappy. They're not going to hit you as hard. But they have some things in the Codex that are really fun. And I like that. I like the fact that you have the different detachments that can do the uppy-downy stuff if you really want to. You could take your Death Company, full army of Death Company if you really want to do that. Or you can go with the old-fashioned +2 strength and +1 attack, which is looking still like that's the meta. And Sanguinary Guard are good. I like it. I mean, they need to be good. I don't know if you like the new models. That's another question entirely, but they're good again.
Are they? Just because it's 3 of them and they're still not as tanky as you'd want them to be.
They're still good. You bring a 6-man unit. They have a 2-up save. You put them in cover. That's a 2-up save with a 4-up invuln. You put them with, there's multiple things you can do with them. I like them with Dante. The characters are really good. Like, characters are going to be like Azeroth is really good. I like what he does. I like what Lamartes does now. It's even better because you're going to try to be a little bit more tanky with your Death Company because you're going to need it because you're not as punchy. You need to fly around and do some things now with them. One unit of Death Company jump pack guys you're going to see now. I think you're not going to see very many of them because they're just overcosted for what they do. They don't have 10 Power Fists anymore, but stacking with Azeroth's ability with the Death Company is really good as well. So there's a lot of stuff you can do with them still. The captain as well gives you the free stratagem, and his chainsaw, or he has a weapon he can get a bunch of attacks with, and they're still good in my opinion. They're not going to be as strong as they were though.
Yeah, which I think is the main issue is once you give players the power, it's really hard to take it away from them. So like they felt the power of the 10 Power Fist, lethal hits, lance, all the extra stuff, and now it's taken away from them. That's never going to make anyone happy, especially with how much of a downgrade it is. Like, do you think Death Company can still nuke things? They don't even get that many weapons anymore. Are they just tanks?
They still can. You can still do a lot of damage. It's just like I said, the way you're gonna have to go about it. You can still give them a chappy and wound on +1. You can give them lance and lethal. You just have to battle shock. So you can still stack a lot of things with them, and you're still re-rolling everything to hit. They still hit very hard. And remember, you're putting a character with them most of the time now. You just have to. And another thing I want to talk about in that regard is the biggest loss, in my opinion, for them is the sanguinary, is the priest with the jump pack, because not only was he giving Vanguard a feel no pain of 5+, but they got rid of them entirely. They squatted all of them entirely, so you can't even take that unit. The 4-up invuln, 5-up feel no pain is gone. That's one of the biggest hits to their army. So they're just you just have to build differently. It's going to have to look. You can't do the total jump pack list anymore. There's going to have to be a few ball predators. You might have to bring a lancer or something to do some anti-tank damage because you don't have 10 Power Fists anymore and multiple units flying around.
I will admit, I really like that battle shock mechanic with the stratagems. That's a good way to buff them while also being a cost.
Yeah, and most of the time you don't need to do both, but sometimes you want it.
Yeah.
So
it's another thing to think about. I like that.
Yep. Anything else you want to say about them before we go to the next one?
No, that was it with the stratagems. I really like that kind of mechanic, or here's a buff, but also a debuff.
Exactly. Now, on to the next one. Before we start the timer, Anthony got a lot of heat last episode because he said, if you don't believe me, go and watch it. He said Oath of the Moment needs to go because Space Marines, it's too powerful for them. They shouldn't be able to re-roll everything on one unit. That's for the entire army. He just went on a rant with that, and people did not like that. And I agree with those people because Space Marines don't have much, so leave them alone. But this is Oath Part 2, Electric Boogaloo. We are doing the revisited. You want to take your words back, Anthony? What do you want to say about it?
So, well, also in the community post, I got roasted. No, I'm not taking any of it back because it's kind of a misinterpretation. I use Oath of Moment as the poster boy example of what I want, since it's the most recognizable one. It gets the attention. I just don't want rerolls. I want less rerolls in the game. I was promised less rerolls, and Oath of Moment is the poster boy of that. It doesn't matter that it's attached to Space Marines. Even the good Space Marine detachment or armies get it. Just less rerolls. I don't know. It goes with that randomness thing. You want more control, but being too reliable is also not a good thing for the game. If you're just getting 96% chance to hit, 96% chance to wound. Oh, look, it's also all AP4, so you barely get to save. I just one-shot Magnus. I don't know. Rerolls make the game too reliable in a dice game. I'm not taking back what I said. I fully stand behind everything I said. Even if it hurts Space Marines, I'm sorry. Just change. Here's a better way to do it. Change Oath of Moment to +1 to hit and +1 to wound. It's like a judgment token that you selectively apply where you need it, that you will always have. It's just, I don't want rerolls. It's that simple.
You guys have my blessing to roast Anthony again. Leave the Space Marines alone. The Oath is fine.
But
They're not an OP
They're
army.
not the only ones that get full rerolls on stuff. I don't like
doesn't
rerolls
matter
on anyone.
Yeah, but we're specifically talking about Oath, and Oath applies to Space Marines, and the way Space Marines function, they need that right now. Like
The
all
core book
Space Marine
Space
armies
Marines, but,
need that
like,
right now.
especially on Blood Angels before they were nerfed, it was absurd. I saw you go from 4 lethal hits
really.
to 16 with that. That's stupid.
Not really, because all my units had rerolled to hit anyways.
Yeah, and they shouldn't.
What do you mean? No, they were built-in rerolls for Death Company.
And I'm saying they shouldn't either.
Full rerolls. Why?
Because
Why am I
rerolls aren't good for the
Why
game.
am I paying 280 points for a unit that's going to get shot by a bolter and die?
I don't know. It's not good for the health of the game. It makes things too reliable, too damaging.
I disagree.
And then even if you still fail those rerolls, you get tilted over it. Where it's like, I know that's a 96% accuracy, and I still failed 10 rolls. Now I feel bad for no reason. I don't know. I'm just comparing it to Old World, where I go in, here's 10 attacks, 2 hit, and I'm laughing. I don't care that I failed the odds horrifically.
I think the rerolls are there to balance things out. I also think rerolls are good for units that pay the tax for those rerolls. So if you're a 280 point Death Company unit, yeah, you should get some rerolls because they're not that tanky. They're fast. They hit hard. They don't hit as hard anymore. They should get rerolls. What makes them an elite unit at that point then? What's the point of taking them? I can just spam out a bunch of other Marines that don't get rerolls.
There's no more unit taxes, so this unit that has innate rerolls can get lance, can get lethal hits, can get sustained hit, can get all these other buffs, precision,
but
whatever.
they're expensive. The unit's expensive.
You can just spam 3 units of them because there's no unit tax.
There is a unit tax. The price of them is very expensive.
Yeah, but if they're good enough, you will take 3 of them. Like with what is it? What do you take? You take 2 Vortex Beasts and 1,000 Suns because they're really good for their price.
They're 150 and they do what they need to do. But talking about Oath of the Moment, it's not. If it was an actual broken mechanic, Space Marines, it would be showing. So it's not that broken. Like there's other things. This is what I always tell people. Like rerolls are not that big of a deal. It's not something that's gonna break the bank on an army. It's like rerolls are nice. It's nice to have, but it doesn't make you like S tier to have rerolls.
I mean,
everything has
yes,
rerolls.
Normal Space Marines aren't good, but it shows with the other ones. All the other
not really
detachments get it. Like the ones that have better units,
one unit
make better use of the rerolls, and it becomes absurd.
On one unit
against one target that could be like a quarter of the person's army.
Yeah, but how much of your army can see one unit is my point. Like if you know how to play properly, like you shouldn't have more than 2 units re-rolling everything into your unit that's Oath, unless you're putting something out there and they choose a target that is in the middle of no man's land. It's not that big of a deal. I've never seen Oath come into play where it's like this is going to be the game ender. It's just not that good of a. It's not that big of a deal.
It's just too many feels bad moments where it's like it's not. It doesn't break the game for Oath specifically a lot of times. But
maybe against guard because you have no armor.
I always think of those examples where the guy gets 40 attacks, 4 6s to hit, so it's only 4 lethals, rerolls everything, and then gets 16 of them, and I'm just like, great.
But that's 1,000 Suns too. We get rerolls. They get rerolls against to wound. So, what's the difference? If you're on an objective with their rubrics, they get to reroll everything.
I don't like that either. I want less rerolls.
I think it's fine. It makes it work. It makes it worth taking that unit, and it makes combos actually happen. Because otherwise, 10th edition would be really boring.
But then you get that
if there was nothing like that.
It's just annoying when they said less reroll edition, less killy edition.
There is less rerolls. There's way less rerolls.
I don't know.
There's way less
no
rerolls.
unit attacks. Everyone's just taking the stuff with rerolls, so it doesn't matter.
I know, but there's way less rerolls in the game in
less
general
rerolls
than there used
exist,
to
but
be.
people are just taking the units with rerolls.
No. In general, there's way less rerolls per army. Like Space Marines used to have reroll everything for a lot of things.
Yeah, that was absurd.
Now it's like, but that's what I'm trying to say. So they did cut down on the rerolls. They stuck true to that. There is rerolls in the game still, but there's way less.
It
way
should be
less.
a rare thing, not a uncommon thing.
Rerolls have been part of the game forever, and it's never, like I said, it's never broken the bank in my opinion. I don't think Oath of the Moment's broken in any way, shape, or form. If Space Marines had different buffs that were like hitting on 2s, +1 to wound monsters and stuff like that built in, like on everything, then rerolls would be absurd like that. But they don't literally have anything else. Like, they don't have much else.
That's a core
Honestly,
Space
they
Marine
don't have
problem,
many shenanigans. Huh?
That's just a core Space Marine problem.
Exactly. So the rerolls make them right now just decent. Otherwise, they're nothing without Oath of the Moment.
And what I said on paper, like the +1 to hit and +1 to wound, is better on paper than Oath of the Moment. It's just, I'm happy it's not rerolls. I don't care that it's better.
Nah, I don't like that. Keep the rerolls.
Oh, well.
I like rolling dice. Rolling dice. It's a game about rolling dice. If you don't like seeing dice rolled, go play, I don't know, Magic the Gathering.
And it's a dice game, but it becomes too reliable. It's no longer dice.
It's not that reliable. They're hitting on threes.
They're
hitting on threes, and a lot of things in the game are -1.
And like
a lot, and
it's
everything has cover.
Threes rerolls. That's a high chance.
Yeah, and everything in the game has cover. So you're getting cover for everything. Everything has like a 3-up save plus cover on a 2-up. Eventually, you just not want to see your models leave the table? Is that what it is? Like, things need to get shot off the table. That's what the game's about. So
eventually, yeah.
Yeah, not eventually. I don't like seeing big units shoot into a tank and it survives 3 turns. I don't want to see that. I want to see big, what's that big Tyranid guy with the gun? I want to see that one shot, a Baneblade. Like, you know what I mean? It's fun. I like the rerolls. Leave them alone.
Oh, we're going like double the time.
You're going to get attacked, Anthony, for this one. The Space Marine players are going to do it. Attack them.
Bring it on. I love it.
Space Marines unite.
I know I'm right. That's the issue.
You're not right. You're definitely wrong in this situation. You need rerolls to balance out dice rolls in 40K because in any tabletop game, because dice rolls are never mathematically the way they're going to... Yeah. It's never going to be mathematically average. So the rerolls are going to average things out a little bit.
It's bad luck
and
protection,
especially when...
but bad luck's part of the game.
No, it's not just bad luck protection. It's also because... And I'm trying to make you understand this. It's very hard to kill things in this edition. It's very hard to kill things. Cover's very easy to come by. You can Armor of Contempt for Space Marines. All that stuff is very easy to do. Go to ground and all these kinds of things. Plus, invulns are everywhere. Feel no pains are everywhere. It's very hard to kill things. You need some rerolls to at least get some opportunities to get wounds onto these. I think lethal hits are worse than rerolls.
Lethal hits with rerolls is what gets me. But I know you're right with
but
the
lethal hits are more broken.
Because free
get
war
rid of
gear means
lethals.
Everyone's taking the best gear, and it's still less damaging than 9. So the game is less lethal.
Yes, exactly. So rerolls are more more reason to have rerolls now than it was to before. If they wanted to remove rerolls when things were getting one-shotted in turn 1, that's fine. I'd say, yeah, makes sense. Get rid of rerolls. If you roll bad, you roll bad. But now you need the rerolls to even make the game playable, in my opinion. Otherwise, you're gonna be locked in combat, shooting each other with pistols that do nothing. Even lethals. I think if you're gonna get rid of something, get rid of lethals before you get rid of rerolls. But on to the next topic, because we are going
where it's look, I have 2 groups of 30 locked up for 4 turns.
Codex break.
Codex break.
GW taking breaks until 2025. They said this is the last Codex coming out. These are the last ones for the year, and we'll see you again next year. What are your thoughts on that? Because I've yet to see that happen. Actually, I have seen that happen once, and it's been a while since that GW has done that again.
Yes.
Just be like, we're gonna chill a little bit.
In older editions, pre-8th edition, long breaks weren't that unheard of. Some armies went editions without codexes, right? So, but 8th edition started a precedence of essentially games as a live service, infinite hype train. So almost every 2 weeks, new models are coming out for 40K constantly. New rules were consistently coming out on almost a set schedule. And there's just this expectation of constant new content, constant new everything, and just new rules, keep going, keep going. And now they're taking a sudden break after doing that for 5 years, 6 years? And it's just a sudden break, and it's shocking to a lot of people. Imagine, especially Zoomers, who are used to just the constant drip feed of content, are now being told, you're getting nothing for months. That might do some damage. That's what I believe. Imagine with a video game, right?
I don't think so, because I think the game needs to sit. You need to, for it to develop and become something different. You also have to let players play their frickin' army. Like, one thing that I'm hating, I'm trying not to swear here because I really want to swear. Why do things have to be auto nerfed when they're a little bit stronger? Then let the meta balance a little bit. Why don't you see how other players react and change their armies, and then think about nerfing something? But now, when the community cries a little bit for a couple of weeks, they just nerf hammer it and they don't even worry about it. Back in 8th edition, I'm sounding like a boomer now, but back in 8th edition, when something was broken, the entire meta shifted towards it. Like, when you had like Morty and Magnus, people started building their lists differently to deal with it. When you had Gilliman with the 2 Leviathan Dreadnoughts for Ultramarines, was a big combo. Things shifted to try to beat that. Same thing for Demons when they were really strong in 8th with Thousand Suns, that soup list. People shifted how to beat that. Same with Iron Hands. I can go on and on. The meta changes around the top armies. Now people are just like, I don't want to deal with that. Nerf it. I think it makes everything so boring, in my opinion. It's already a combo-less game, in my opinion. Everybody knows exactly what to take, when to take it. All the lists look the same. It's just this. The only randomness is the cards. That's my opinion. And whether you like it or not, I don't think GW cares. And they're just going to nerf things when they need to. And they don't need to release codexes, because play it the way it is. And when we have the rules the way we want them, we'll release something else. And I think that's a better way to do it than just to nerf everything.
Long term, that is probably better for the health of the game. It's just they set expectations that they're no longer following. And it also makes it hard to be a competitive game when... Here's my boomer take with it. The internet is too fast, of course, right? When an OP combo comes out, it's not like 5th edition where it takes 3 years for someone to hear about it across the country. It is 2 days out, even sometimes before the book is out, people hear this OP combo, and that's all you fight. So put in a quick hot patch to fix it, otherwise people aren't going to have fun. And at the end of the day, they need to be having fun for GW to make money. If it's OP, people don't want to fight it, they don't want to play, which... I prefer having a natural evolving meta, but at the same time, it's like, imagine that in just games where here's a hot patch to fix some annoying bug because you can't get your content.
But nothing, but that's my point. There's nothing that's 10th edition is so streamlined. Nobody is not going to see the combos that are there. Yeah. You're going to read the codex, you're going to open it, you're going to know exactly what's strong and exactly what's not strong. It's very easy. You might find an obscure rule or a combo that not everybody would want to do, but most of the time it's right in front of your face. You're not what they've done. My analogy, like my comparison that I give to people, 40K went from Fast and the Furious to Formula One. So Fast and the Furious, you're street racing. So you're going to have a Ferrari with a whatever on like new Ferrari versus a Corvette with a souped up engine that you don't know how much horsepower is under the hood. So you have these random armies going up against each other and you don't know what their capabilities are. Now, everybody's a Formula One car. Everybody's the same speed. Everybody's the same handling abilities. Everybody's the same car in like as much as they can make the meta balanced. And here's an even playing field for you guys where the cards are random. Now it comes down to player skill more than anything. So it's like whoever the better player of the game is going to win the game. And that's what they're intending. But it's really that streamlining of the game has turned the combo finding and the people that like reading the codexes and coming up with ideas and that you don't see or you haven't seen is gone. And I love that aspect of 40K, and that's completely gone.
I just can't wait to see what it actually does for everyone, because the infinite hype train is gone for the next few months. If people move on, they're not coming back. That's usually what happens like with video games, where once they move on, they're not coming back.
It's different because people for this wait for their stuff to come out, and they will wait, and they'll come back for it.
There's more of an investment in this too, where it's like, I have all these models. If I move on, what am I going to do with them?
Yeah, you don't. you don't want to have a video game mentality for 40K anyways. But
That's what it feels like
that's
to
our
me. It's my
take on
best
that.
comparison.
Yeah. On to the next one. We are going to big boots to fill. Anthony wrote down some players need to be in a bigger pond.
Yes.
So you're saying there's small fish
In a big pond? In a
eating
small
up
pond?
smaller fish?
It's just, have you had that situation before? It's like, you go to a local store, this guy's the big shot of the store, he's the best player in the store, and he's just kind of full of himself because of it, and he's just not that great. He's just the best in his area, kind of ruining it for other people, goes to a bigger tournament and gets destroyed, finds out he's just not as good as he thought he was. I don't know, it's just, I don't know if it's exactly a problem, but I'm seeing it more often. I just find it kind of funny.
I mean, when you say a big fish, like a guy that needs to go to a bigger pond, are we talking about somebody that's like being toxic in a smaller community, or is it just somebody that thinks they're better than they actually are?
A bit of both. Just because, I don't know, I'm sure you've seen that where it's like this guy's just full of himself, how good at the game he is, and he's just running a mediocre list.
I don't really care about that. I have run into a player recently that does play in a smaller community. It is a somewhat competitive community, but they are not playing to that high of a level. They're not playing players of a very high caliber, and he, I guess, is one of the better or the best player in that community. And I played him and kind of beat him pretty easily, and he got really salty and started like, telling me things, and like, just you could just tell it wasn't a fun conversation at the end of the game. It wasn't like anybody cheated or anything. It just he didn't feel like he should have lost like that. I guess he didn't understand how that happened. But, and I'm not trying to say I'm the best player in the world. I'm just saying players like that kind of they're in their own ecosystem, and they think they're a lot higher skill quality than they actually are. And sometimes they do need to go to a tournament and lose and see. And I think it's better to do that. I think it's better to gauge your level, to do that, to go out and be like, you know what, maybe I'm not as good as I thought I was. Let me go see at this tournament. And you start playing really good players, and then you lose, and you just, like I told you, when you lose bad, what do?
Just learn from it.
You learn from it. You go back to the drawing board and be like, how can I not let that happen again? And yeah, that's my take on it. It's not a big deal if you have a bad attitude. Like if it's somebody that's like, I can't lose. How did I lose? Like if they're just like, then it's just the person, less the community. Because I play players that are, we know a little community with Tino and those guys at GW, which they're not fully competitive players. Most of them just play casually, but they do like the more competitive style. Like they play a little more competitive, but they're not like, I'm not unbeatable. They know they're gonna lose when they play a WTC player, ITC player, but fine. They're not like, they're in reality.
Yeah, I've seen some.
I just think that's a person problem, not a player thing. Yeah, I hope it doesn't happen too much. I hear stories all the time. I think at GW stores it happens the most, like where you have these like table bullies, guys coming out and bringing like stomp lists against casual players. That shouldn't be happening, and that's up to the person that runs the local store to
deal with,
to keep an eye on that. Yeah, I don't think it's a huge problem though.
No, I just don't like that. It like ruins the reputation of competitive stuff. Like those are future competitive players that might have wanted to join it, but now that's what they think a competitive person is. Just someone who goes up like, yeah, I'm the best in the world. I'm gonna beat you. It's like, no, bro.
That's not a win. We call that a win at all cost player.
Not even just a difference between like just an airhead, big ego.
Yeah, I just think there's people like that. No matter what you do, there's going to be guys like that. Like I said, I can talk about it again. It's also, you just played against Lucas from Team Sweden, and you see the mentality of really competitive players. Some of these guys are like we were joking around. We were in the studio playing, and Anthony was like, here's my cards. You want to see what I drew? And Lucas was just like, listen, dude, if you want to cheat, you win. Like, GG, you won it. Don't worry about it. Like, good players they don't care about, like, we're playing at that level, and it's like, listen, if you want to cheat at a game like this, like, go ahead. We're not
He
at a
was great to
tournament. We're
fight.
playing.
Like that's exactly
the end-
what I want my games to be. Fun banter.
And you know what?
He's a really good player.
And what is it going to do for two competitive players practicing either on in WTC on whatever, if you want to be playing in person or on TTS? What is it really going to do for you to cheat yourself into a game that's going to mean nothing? I'd rather lose and learn something from my list than win by cheating because I need to have my ego fed. If you win, you win, and if somebody beats you, take it. I don't think players are that. I hope there's not players like that are that like stubborn to think that they're that good. Go out there and play, and if they lose, they lose.
Perfect.
But why are you saying you're one of those players?
No. I just what?
What? Are you a small fish?
Am I a small
that needs to get fried?
Small fish or big fish?
A big fish that needs to get fried.
I lose 2
right.
enough. It's fine.
I know. I haven't seen you win in a while.
What?
I haven't seen you win.
Last week.
I don't believe you.
Aw.
It never happened. But yeah, some players do need to go to a bigger pond and stretch their wings or their fins, whatever, if they're a Tau. 10th edition.
Get humbled.
10th edition boring? That's our last topic. Is it boring? Is 10th edition too streamlined? We've talked about it a little bit right now. Do you think 10th edition needs to be a little more exciting?
I do like, what's it called now? Piranha Nexus way better than Leviathan. Leviathan was
You
boring.
called it
That
Piranha
was driving me
Nexus.
insane. What?
You just said Piranha Nexus.
Yeah, Justin's gotten it to me.
Oh, man.
No, but Leviathan was very, very boring. The fixed cards were so good, and the game was so simple. It's just, here's my fixed objectives. I know I can score 80 on this. At some point, it's like, you want to just talk out on turn 3? It was just boring. Now it's not as boring, but you still have the problem of the core rules being not great.
Like what?
Like, okay, not even the core rules, just the way you build the armies, where take whatever you want, and your army itself, where it's losing options. Blood Angels lost like half their stuff. All this, where it's like, when my Codex comes out, I know I'm losing half of it. That's just going to be boring for building lists. You're going to have the entire, like what you said, combo right in front of you right from the start. There's nothing to discover, nothing to find out, and it just becomes the games blend together because it's the same thing.
Well, the combos are going to be there regardless, but you're kind of contradicting yourself there.
I am?
Because you said before you don't want free war gear, and now that armies are losing their free war gear,
No,
I mean they don't have to pay for upgrades,
and,
but they're
yeah,
but they're losing the free upgrade on every single model. Like,
yeah, I hate that too.
It's better that they don't have 10 power fists. That's better for the game. I don't want to see orc knobs with 10 power fists.
Yes, but that's better when you pay for it. When it's free, that's annoying. But then you have stuff like the Chaplain who had like 10 pistol weapons and 10 melee options going down to bolt pistol and mace, and that's it.
Agree. Bring back war gear. If somebody wants to run 10 power fists, let them do it. Just let them pay a tax on it. I agree with that. I just think they want it to be more out of the box and make it easier for players to pick up an army or a unit and be like, this is what they do. I don't like it. Like I said, the less options you have in a game, the less combos there are. It becomes very, very mundane and very boring, especially when you play the game a lot. It's just like, yeah, I've seen this list 50 times already. Like, whatever, do what you got to do. So, like I said, I'm going to reiterate it. This is not the best state of 40K. I don't care what people say about this being one of the best states of competitive 40K. It is absolutely not. It is one of the boringest states of 40K. And it's funny because you talk to really competitive players that love 40K, and they're just like, oh, I hate playing 40K now. It gives me pain, but I still play it because all my friends play it, and I just have fun playing with my friends. But this is not the most fun I've ever had playing 40K, and that should resonate with GW, and they should be listening to that because the players that are playing every week are the ones buying all your models. So let's see.
You know what else it is? What I see is 10th edition is the most balanced 40K has ever been. That is true. That's right. It's also so goddamn boring. It's not.
It is
goddamn
the
way,
most
it's
balanced.
Just very. It's
That's-
boring a lot of times.
That's exactly what we're saying, but it's hyper balanced.
It's hyper
It's like-
balanced because there's no
Yes.
options.
Exactly. Like you need. I like the a couple of armies a month having taste of a higher meta or whatever, but keep it. I'm okay with a more balanced meta. I'm just not okay with everybody having the same toolkit. Does that make sense?
Yeah. Remember when the?
I don't want to
was it
see
the Storm
uppy
Raven?
downy. Huh?
Remember when it was the Storm Raven that was the current meta at the time, and I went to a tournament, a GT. I walked in the room and saw 10 different tables with a Storm Raven on it.
Yeah, that's 40K in general, but I'm fine with that. I'm fine with certain things picking up on meta. My point is, I don't want like everybody to have the same toolkit. I don't want uppy down. Like before, it was like Baharoth did a certain thing, and the Swooping Hawks could do those uppy downy stuff. Now everybody has uppy downy. Then you have the Grey Knights now that can bring 3 units up. Now you're seeing Blood Angels are able to do that. Other armies are getting able to do that. It's not as like niche. I want to see when one army has it, it's like, okay, that's cool. That's what they do. But when everybody does it, it's lost its charm. It's not like a big deal anymore. It's just like, oh, that's just like a thing they've introduced into the game now. Okay. I don't know. I think it just takes a little more GW having faith in their rule writing and less, let's just copy this because it worked. So let's do it for this army because we know this works.
Yeah.
That's it. That's my opinion on it. But like I said, it's not the worst state 40K's been in at all. But it is the most balanced. It's not the best state of competitive play, in my opinion, because of the randomness. I'm still going to say that. I don't like randomness in 40K for competitive play, at least. I like knowing what my army can do and what I'm good at and going in there with a tactic and an idea and not have my cards screw me over. That's just my opinion. I was never a huge fan of Maelstrom, but I still play it, and I'll still go to tournaments and try to be good and help the team. But yeah, what do you think before we go?
There's more topics I want to talk about, but that would start a whole another couple minute thing.
Just talk about one thing. What do you think overall
Of 10th?
of the state of competitive?
Kind of bland. Especially if there's going to be a 4-month content drought where the meta's not going to change too much.
4 months? You're probably looking at more like 5 months.
Maybe 5 months. It's just, we know where the meta is right now. It's already been like 2 or 3 months since the last update, right? And now we're going to have another 4 or 5 months of that. I've already experienced it. I already know what a lot of armies
we
do
know Guard-
and what they're going to take.
Guard might not even get a book this one, they said.
No, they already said it's coming early next year.
I don't believe them.
You know what? I kind of hope
I don't
not.
believe it.
Because I'm afraid what they're going to do to Guard.
I don't believe it. Yeah, but we'll see. Maybe they'll get some new models.
Oh, yeah. This Krieg refresh.
Nice. Oh yeah, that's nice. I have a few Krieg units, so I wouldn't mind building just for having that painted a Krieg army. Yeah, that's it. That's the last topic. I think you're gonna get roasted for the Oath of the Moment stuff again. Space Marine players are gonna get salty, but we'll see what happens. So that's the end of the show. Thanks for joining us. We did rant on a little bit on this one. We're gonna have to get some red cards next time. If you get a red card, you got to eat a chili pepper or something for the next one.
We got red paint, if that counts.
Paint your face red if you go over.
What was that?
Paint your face red every time you go over. All right. Well, we'll see you guys next time. Thanks for joining us. We're Northern Knights Gaming. Remember to like, comment, subscribe. It helps us, the channel, so much. We have some live streams coming up this week. So check us out. Remember to also become a member because members have a lot of great content, as well as our competitive 40K matches go on to the members section only. So if you want to watch our comp matches, we have a lot of great players coming out to our show. We just had Lucas from Team Sweden, but that was on Wednesday, so you get to watch it on the public. But come check us out on members, and we'll see you next time. Take care.
Peace.